Weddings make people perform. My brother has always been good at that. The reception hall was all glass and white roses. The kind of place that photographs well from every angle. I arrived 10 minutes before the ceremony, signed the guest book, and took my seat without drawing attention. I prefer it that way. At cocktail hour, one of the groomsmen waved me over. "Hey, you're the sister, right?" he asked. Before I could answer, my brother appeared at his side, tuxedo perfectly tailored, smile perfectly practiced. "Gentlemen," he said, clapping one of them on the shoulder. "Meet the family Embarrassment." They laughed automatically. "She works at a grocery store," he added, lowering his voice just enough to suggest intimacy, not cruelty. "Keeps things humble." More laughter. The kind that comes from men who assume everyone is in on the same joke. I felt it, of course. The small contraction in the chest, the old narrative sliding neatly into place. Growing up, I was the quiet one. The practical one. When I took a job at a grocery chain during college, it became shorthand for a lack of ambition. They never updated the story. "I like it," I said evenly. "It's honest work." My brother grinned, mistaking composure for submission. I smiled back, then stepped away before the conversation could stretch further. There's a particular skill in not reacting when someone expects you to. It unsettles them more than anger ever could. I moved toward the terrace doors, leading air. The lake beyond the venue was still, reflecting the late afternoon light. I watched servers weave between guests. Trays balanced effortlessly. A man approached from my left. He was wearing a tuxedo like the other groomsmen, but his posture was different, more alert. "Less performatorson," he said quietly. I turned. "I'm Daniel, head of security for the venue. Shall we leave?" The phrasing wasn't a suggestion. It was confirmation. I studied his face. Calm, professional. "Is there a problem?" I asked. "No, Mom," he replied. "We've been notified of a guest interaction that may require review. I wanted to ensure your comfort." Behind him, near the entrance, I noticed two other men in similar attire. Subtle earpieces. Discreet positioning. The venue belongs to a hospitality group I acquired 3 years ago, not personally, through a holding company that prefers invisibility. I don't attend openings. I don't cut ribbons. I sign documents and move on. When my brother chose this place for his wedding, he never knew. I never corrected him. "I'm fine," I said. "Thank you." Daniel gave a slight nod but didn't leave. Inside, the energy shifted almost imperceptibly. One of the event managers approached my brother, pulling him aside near the bar. Their conversation was quiet, but the tone was unmistakably formal. I watched my brother's expression change, first confusion, then a glance toward the terrace, then a tightening around the eyes. He scanned the room and found Daniel standing a respectful distance behind me. It doesn't take much for people to connect dots when the environment around them changes. A few minutes later, my brother approached. "What's going on?" he asked, keeping his voice low. "Nothing," I said. "The venue manager just told me there was a complaint." "I didn't file one," he hesitated. "They said something about stakeholder conduct policies." I held his gaze. This was the moment people imagine turning theatrical, a reveal, a speech, a correction of the record. Instead I said, "It's your wedding, enjoy it." His jaw tightened slightly. "You own this place." "Partially," I replied. He exhaled once, sharply. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" "You never asked." The same sentence I've used before in my life. It's rarely meant as accusation. More as observation. He looked back toward his groomsmen, who were suddenly very interested in their drinks. "I was joking," he said. "I know. That's not how I meant it." "I know that too." What he meant and what he revealed were not the same thing. The band started playing again. Guests drifted toward the dance floor. The wedding moved forward because weddings always do. Daniel stepped closer. "Anderson, your car is ready whenever you are." I nodded. I found the bride first, congratulated her sincerely. She hugged me, unaware of any undercurrent. As I walked toward the exit, the laughter behind me sounded different. Quieter, measured. Outside, the air felt cooler. Daniel opened the car door. "If you need anything further, we're available." "I won't," I said. "But thank you." On the drive home, I thought about the grocery store. I still work there sometimes, not because I need to. Because I like the rhythm. The predictability, the conversations with regular customers who don't care about valuations or portfolios. My brother called 2 days later. He didn't apologize directly, he circled the subject. Asked about my investments. Said he hadn't realized how well I'd done. I listened. What I understood, more clearly than ever, was that his joke hadn't been about my job. It had been about hierarchy. About needing someone beneath him in the story. That role no longer fits. I didn't correct him at the wedding because I didn't need to. The security wasn't the point. The venue wasn't the point. The point was that I walked away before he finished the sentence. And I left with my dignity intact.